Hey there, we are back with Chapter 2 of Warrior Goddess Training with our amazing facilitator, Juli Walker. She's going to take us through Chapter 2.
All right, so this chapter is about alignment. So, yes. So get your yoga kit out and get your align out. Kidding, totally kidding. So we're going to revisit a little bit of what we just did in the previous chapter just to kind of bring you back into focus of what we're doing. So just to revisit a little bit on commitment. By now you should have been thinking about things and what you've got that you want to get rid of. But one of the questions that I want you to think about is what you're good at. So what are you good at with other people? What are you good at with yourself? What are you good at in your business or in your life? What is it that you're good at? And what do you think you should be good at? Because there's the big one. What do we think we should be good at? Because that's the one that's going to start telling you exactly what it is that you are starting to have issues with. A lot of times Heather Ash will do an exercise in her group sessions of write down, if I were a good warrior goddess, I would be, and then you have to, fill in the blank. I would be perfect. I would be committed. I would be better at losing weight. I would be a better friend. I would be able to stand on my own 2 feet. I would be able to
Be Martha Stewart.
Be Martha Stewart, yeah. Well, what we should be answering is, what should we be good at? Being who we were meant to be. Honoring who we are now, good, bad, and flaws. Saying yes to loving ourselves 100%. No longer abandoning ourselves. Abuse, an abusive relationship. Comparing ourselves to others. Or judging ourselves or judging others. Because when we judge others, usually it means that there's something about us that we see in them, and we don't like it, so we judge them for it when we should be looking at ourselves. We should be regaining the trust of ourselves and seeing what we have created and accepting that and changing it as we want to. So when you have a moment, write down what you've committed to that no longer serves you. How you've been acting toward yourself. What you feel has been passed down. Because a lot of times these things we learn them because that's what our mother did. And what our grandmother did. So that's what we think that's the way we're supposed to be. Because that's, it's like the big argument about the recipes. You have that recipe that was grandma's recipe, and then it got handed down to mom, and now you've got it, and you have to make it exactly like grandma made it. And it's actually a source of contention in my family because we do have a family recipe that was handed down from my grandmother. And my brother and I altered it because it's a filling. It's a nut filling that goes into a sweetbread roll. You roll it up. It's called, what is it called? Petizza. It's called petizza.
Ooh.
Also known as nut roll. But we like the filling, so my brother and I changed the filling. We actually make half again as much filling because we really like it. But there's even an argument between my brother and I exactly how we make it. So now this is a whole point of contention. Every time we make it, when the family's together, we all argue about this recipe. So that's one of those things where that's just fun. But there are things that get passed down from generation to generation, and you think you have to do it this way or you have to be this way. So that's what we talk about when we're talking about things that have been passed down. Hopefully you've scanned your life to see kind of what has been going on up until this point. And I'm sure you're starting to have things bubble up. Little things you're going, yeah, wonder what that's about. Or, oh, I got triggered there. I wonder, let me think about that later on. Now hopefully you wrote it down somewhere, made a mental note, and you did think about it. And maybe hopefully you found somebody who can share things with, you can share this journey with, so that you have someone that can help support you as you go through it. So the foundation then that we're working with is committing to ourselves, which we just talked about. And the second part of the foundation is realigning with yourself. So that's today. And then next week we'll talk about, or next session we'll talk about purifying. So those are the top three to make the foundation for you to do this work. So we've talked about, you're also becoming aware, which is huge in this. I had someone who went through this course and said, you know, once you become aware, you can never go back. So now you're becoming aware of what people say to you. You're becoming aware of what the media is saying, what you see on your TV commercials, in print ads, on and on and on. You're starting to see how you're being guided to believe a certain way. You're being guided to buy certain products. So because of the way that, you know, it's out there. So hopefully that's starting to come up. And you're starting to have compassion for yourself as these things come up. So hopefully we can start shedding this blame that you have when you start blaming yourself for being a certain way. You can start shedding the guilt of how you may not be good enough or worthless, because you are just fine. Start shedding shame, being ashamed of how you look, being ashamed of how you act, and shed the idea, most important, of worthlessness. Every single one of us is perfect in any moment. So as we go through things and improve, we are still perfect. If we don't improve, we are still perfect. We are where we are supposed to be, doing what we are supposed to do. So being that you are here watching these videos is perfect, because we are giving you the tools to continue and change and grow, but know that every moment is perfect. So you've committed to coming home and accepting the support and the acceptance of people around you, and also your own support and acceptance. And now we're going to talk about aligning with life. So there's two ways of thinking about life. One of them is linear thinking, and one of them is cyclical thinking and living. So linear thinking is not inherent in life. Linear thinking is when everything goes in a certain pattern that you think is prescribed. So A, B, C, D. I'm born, I go to school, I get married, I have kids, I retire, I die.
Wah, wah, wah.
That's linear thinking. This is how my life's going to go. Bump, 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 bump. Life doesn't go that way. There's all kinds of twists and turns and bumps in the road, and something that you think is going to happen doesn't happen for whatever reason. And there's no reason to judge or blame if something doesn't go exactly the way you think it should. Kind of like that.
Kind of like that. Darn phone. Keep going, Julie. We're all good. I got you covered. I got you.
So remember how she said there wouldn't be any technical glitches?
Well, you know, my phone likes to prove me wrong. Let's just, here we go.
So yes, so sorry, technical.
There we go. We should be okay.
As long as I'm looking at you.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, guys. We got this covered. Don't worry. Hang on. Hang on. If anybody has a really, really good phone holder suggestion for a Google phone, please tell me. Okay.
Oh my.
It looks a little drunk, I'm not going to lie. But you keep going. I'm going to fix this.
So, we're having issues here. No judgment. It's funny. So don't be alarmed for us or anything, because
we have fun.
Stuff happens.
We figure it out.
But, so, that's an example of linear thinking for Misty.
I was wondering why you were going like this. I'm like, are you passing out on me?
There's a Google phone prop thing, whatever they call these things, holder.
A little clutcher thingy.
That sticks to my table, and I'm going to put my phone into it, and it's going to sit there and be perfect, and then we will do these videos and nothing will go wrong.
Clearly that didn't happen.
Literally, this linear thinking pattern does not work, as most of them do not work. Here's where linear thinking is great. 1 + 1 is 2.
Can't argue with that.
3 × 2 is 6. That's linear thinking that works. But, you know, in life in general, it doesn't. Life is a cycle. So think about it in birth, life, death. We're born, we live, we die. Something comes back, whether you believe in reincarnation or you just believe in the next generation coming through. However you think about it, some people say when somebody dies, a new life comes into the world. So that's part of the cycle. Think of the 4 seasons. Spring, summer, winter, or fall, winter, sorry. Spring, things get planted, new growth starts. Summer, maturity as it continues to grow. Fall, harvest. Winter, things die. Seeds go into the ground. Everything kind of hibernates till spring comes, and the cycle starts over again. So that's a way of cycling. Life ebbs and flows like that. So it's continually a cycle. It could be, you can see it in anything. You can see it in your life in general. You can see it in your job. You can see it in relationships. Everything moves in a cycle, in a circle.
It's interesting too because it doesn't always follow the actual seasons either. It's like your life might be in a period of winter when it's actually summer outside. Like that's how my life's flip-flopped. Like a lot of people in the summertime are very vibrant, they're very alive, they're out, they're doing stuff. I'm hibernating inside with my air conditioning. So like for me, it's my winter because I'm like going inside, I'm going internal and letting some other things like die. And then when the winter comes, that's like my summer. That's when I'm like alive and out and you know what I mean? So don't get thinking that just because it's one season outside or like everybody's feeling this way that is true for you too, because it could actually be completely different.
Actually, yes, everybody's cycle is different. Everybody's way they exist is different. So there's no, and like I said, there's no wrong way to do it. It's your way to do it, because you are you, and you're not Misty or me. And so you got to you got to live your life the way it is for you, and not again. This is becoming your true, authentic self. Not letting somebody else's life dictate what your life should be, or somebody else's cycle of life dictate what yours should be. Yours is yours. Honor it, because that's the really great thing is we're all individuals, so we don't honor ourselves as individuals enough. We want to be fitting into a pattern, and we don't. Celebrate that. So in this kind of cycle of things, we have demonized particular things and celebrated others. Again, something that we've been told. So death. Death is horrible, death is terrible, death is a tragedy. Death is hard on the living. It's not hard on the person that died. Sometimes it's a release. But where death is hard is on the person that's living, because we grieve. Because we grieve the loss, we grieve what could have been, all those kinds of things. And so we've demonized death as a horrible thing. And death itself is not. It's the emotions that accompany grief that are hard to deal with. And again, that is something that we all have to move through. Again, continuing that cycle, we have to move through that cycle of grief. Because if you've ever been in grief counseling or anything, you know there's like 7 stages, I believe, to grief, and anger and denial and sadness, and all those are part of it, and that's moving through that cycle. Again, it's another cycle. We move through that cycle in order to grieve the person or pet or whatever we've lost, job, etc., that we've lost, to be able to move on. Birth is always a wonderful thing, and it is. Birth is a wonderful thing. Something new coming into the world, whatever it is a wonderful thing, and yes, that's great. Darkness has always been demonized. Everybody's always, don't be afraid of the dark, leave the nightlight on, darkness is bad, darkness is when horrible things happen, and darkness is necessary, because we all need a time to rest. We all need to, be able to be still, to end our day, to rejuvenate. And for us as people, darkness is usually the best time for that, and light is the time that we get up and go and do things. Not true for everybody. Some people and some plants and some animals do better at night, and they use the day. So their cycle is different, but they're equally great. So darkness for some people is really great, and light is not so good. The other way around. So we've always demonized dark when we should actually just think of it as a normal thing, part of the cycle. Here's a big one. Femininity has been demonized, and masculinity has been celebrated. And we wonder why that is. Because how wonderful is it to be a woman? Think of all the wonderful things that we can do that men can't do. The most important being we can create birth. We can give life. We can create life within us. Not give life, we can create life within us. And that's a wonderful thing. So why are we demonized? In the old days, in the very old days, women were held high because that was something they could do. Because they could bring life into the world. They were honored, and it was a fabulous thing, as opposed to what became something that you hid. That, remember back in the 50s when the husbands and wives slept in separate beds? I'm dating myself. Sorry. Go watch I Love Lucy reruns. Lucy and Ricky never slept in a double bed. They slept in twin beds next to each other. When women would get pregnant, they would be like, had to stay in the house and not show themselves because if they were pregnant, they had sex. That's a horrible thing to talk about. So, we don't want anybody to know that we had sex because that's like really bad. People will know we've been doing something we shouldn't be doing. And, you have the baby afterwards and you're out in public with the baby and the children. So I don't understand what the whole thing was, but it was a bad thing. That's why women were always like subjugated because women have power. And we've lost it, and that's what we're gaining, because you've seen with the Me Too movement, you've seen with all the marches, you've seen with women coming into power. That's the thing, is we are starting to take back our power. And why? Because people like Heather Ashe have started this kind of movement, whether they thought they were going to or not, or were trying to or not, they have started this. And we are starting to reclaim our power. So anyway, sorry, a little sidetrack there. So when we align, we bring back balance into our life. When we are not like going, death is bad, birth is good, dark is bad, light is good, feminine is bad, masculine is good, it's a balance. So, warrior goddess, let's go back to that. What is warrior goddess? Why warrior goddess? Warrior is a masculine energy, goddess is the female energy. So what is masculine energy? What is a warrior energy? Focus, discipline, drive. What are feminine, what are goddess traits? Compassion, love,
flowy,
creativity. We as women have both of these. Men too. They have a male side and a female energy. We have male and female energy in us. And the idea is not to keep it in balance all the time, but to let whatever it is take the forefront when it needs to be. So when you need to be more driven, when you need to be more focused, when you need to be more disciplined, then you have more of the warrior energy up. And then when you need to be more compassionate, you have the female energy, the goddess energy up. So we're not always 50-50. We could be 60-40 or 80-20, either way. So even though we're going to be talking about balance, the male-female energy doesn't always need to be 50-50 within us. It does what we need it to do when we need it to do it. So, back to balance. So we want to bring balance in our life, not in terms of our warrior goddess energy, but in terms of thinking of a new way. So instead of thinking of death as being, a horrible ending to something, think of it as a letting go. And birth is more of a nourishing energy. So just like, the trees in the fall, the leaves die, and the tree lets go of it, and it floats down. So that's kind of what we're doing with our agreements that no longer serve us. We're letting them go and letting them float down, and we're nourishing the new stuff that's coming up, that's starting to open us, make us freer. The seasons, the cycle of the seasons, how balanced that is in terms of what we just talked about. Something beginning, something growing, something coming to fruition with the harvest, and then the letting go till we come back to the next creation. Light and dark, the balance between light and dark. If we didn't, and that goes with the seasons as well, because the winter solstice on December 20th is the day of the longest darkness of the day, and summer solstice, which is in June 21st or so, is the longest light day. And then the two that are in the middle, spring and fall, that's equal. So that's the same thing with, the balance that they have. If we have one really long darkness, one really long lightness, but between we have the balance. And it just keeps flowing like that. There are almost so many cycles that occur in so many different stages of our life. So remember, the linear do this, get that is very simple, but not always going to be the way our life goes. Sometimes, yeah. If I go to the drive-thru and I say I want an iced tea, and they say, pay your money, and here's my money, here's my iced tea. Very simple. But, sometimes you go and you say, I want that chicken fried steak, and they go, we're out. Oh, well, Then you have to make another decision. So A plus B did not work that time. I had to go to C or D. Cyclical, the spirals in your life. As you spiral, as you work on this, you're going to start working in spirals. It's kind of like an onion. We always talk about peeling the onion, where your onion, you get one layer off, there's another layer. You get that layer off, there's another layer. It's the same thing with as you're working through your agreements, you'll start to see that there are layers to these agreements. Oh, I had this happen to me. Oh, I remember this happened when I was 17. So, yeah, I think that's where that agreement came from. And you live along your merry life, and all of a sudden, you get triggered again. Same thing. What happened? I thought I cleaned that out. Oh, I remember when I was 14, something similar happened like this. Oh, okay. All right, I'm going to deal with that, forgive it, clean it out. Great. And then it comes up again. So this is a continuing journey. Do not be depressed by it, because it doesn't mean that you're going to stay in one place and you're just going to have to keep watching this stuff go by. It means as you clean one out, you get more space to clean more out. The more space, the more energy you have, the freer life you live, and the more you love yourself. So it's an awesome thing. So anytime you see a trigger, you go, awesome, something to clean, yay!
It's not usually how it happens for me, but I like the way that she does it.
So don't judge when these things come around. It's an awesome thing, because it means I have another thing to clean so I can be freer. It's deeper work, so that I can go deeper and deeper and get to who I truly am. I can clean this up, I can clean everything out and be like so open and have so much space for energy for everything. Because we are the weavers of our own fabric. We are the sacred weavers of our life. And when there are tears that are created in this fabric, whether it's an external tear or an internal tear in our beings, seeing that tear begins the healing. Being able to fix it. Like I said, the good news is this is totally your responsibility to fix it. Bad news is it's only you that can fix it. But the good news again is you can fix it. So as things come up, just think of it as a thread loose in the fabric. I'm going to put it back together, clean it out, and be perfect. So when you're doing this work, as you're aligning, witness from your heart how the cycles move in your life. Remember that you can't change the past. So as you are working through these cycles, you're not going to change it. You're just going to make it better. So take this commitment to yourself in alignment in hand. Be grateful for how it served you. Love the things that have happened to you. Appreciate what they've done for you. And then let them go. Because everything happens. They say everything happens for a reason. I think it does. I think it does teach us to learn and grow. And so there is something that it has given you, even though it doesn't seem like it at the moment. There is something that it has benefited you. So honor these things as you let them go. Honor each of the seasons in your own way. Spring, honor the birth and the new beginnings. Summer, honor the growth and abundance that's around you. Fall, as it fades and things fall, honor the beauty and the harvest that's coming. And winter, as things go dormant, honor that time too for the plants. And if it's in your life, however it works, honor the changes as well. think that's all.
Okay, so we got your blends. Again, it's from I Am Fabulous from Desiree Mangadog, so if you guys want to grab that book, it's this guy. So your 2 blends for this chapter 2 is Clear the Clutter. Clear the Clutter is used when you feel the need to purge clutter out of your life. It's common for our modern society to accumulate stuff and rarely clean out our home of unnecessary items. Accumulation of things is part of the high-consumption Western culture. The reality is too much stuff drags us down. When we let go of extra things, more positive flow occurs in our life. Clear the Clutter will create the desire and excitement to sell, donate, or gift the clutter in our home. So if you have been wanting to clean the house but couldn't find the energy to do it, use this blend to help shift your attitude. I can tell you that I actually used this blend this past weekend. And I think I cleaned out about half of my house in the last few months, and I've donated pretty much all of it. It's pretty amazing, especially that purge of just getting rid of the crap and just allowing everything to breathe is amazing. So the blend breakdown in this blend is lemongrass, which is the most powerful cleansing oil. It completely wipes out low vibrations of holding on to things. Lemongrass shows you your self-worth is not connected to the items you own and empowers you to let go. Lime brings gratitude to the heart. It helps you be grateful for the simple things, such as the ability to breathe and walk. Lime promotes feelings of appreciation for all that you have and the desire to bless others with the excess. Lemon provides the necessary focus to stay the course and commit to eliminating excess. Cinnamon gives you confidence. No matter how big the task of decluttering, cinnamon reminds you that you can do it one item at a time. It provides hope that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Arbor Vitae reminds you to trust the journey, as it may be an emotional process of letting go. It provides feelings of strength and security through the change. Douglas Fir gives you renewed energy and excitement for a new chapter in your life. So that is the Clear the Clutter blend, and then your other one is the Clarity blend. Clarity is an excellent blend for those who struggle with constant confusion, especially those who experience foggy brain. Some describe it as a dark cloud in or around the head. The oils and clarity open up the mind and get rid of the muck that creates low energy. You'll be able to hear yourself think, be very present when communicating with others, and radiate vibrant energy. Man, just reading this, it makes me want to go use it now. Eucalyptus and Douglas Fir both powerfully open up the brain to create massive energy flow. In Chinese medicine, the foggy brain is referred to as hidden phlegm in the mind. These oils assist in breaking through the hidden phlegm. This isn't literal phlegm, it's thick, sticky energy. Lemon also breaks down hidden phlegm. It is responsible for clearing the mind of negative thoughts and bringing positive ideas to the surface. Peppermint is another head-opening clearing oil. It creates movement of energy. Peppermint also resolves feelings of frustration and irritability associated with foggy-headedness. Rosemary assists in the transition of confusion to clarity. Sometimes it can be difficult to believe that your life can change for the better. Rosemary brings confidence that it is possible to improve your current situation. Melissa shows you how brilliant and beautiful you are. It is difficult to have low energy when you see how powerful and important you are in this world. Wintergreen allows you to abandon your worries and fears and trust in the journey of wellness. Lemongrass clears destructive thoughts that tear you down. This oil helps you let go of old ways of thinking and embrace the new patterns of empowering beliefs. And then cardamom provides perspective on why you have been unclear. Awareness alone can create positive change. That understanding will prevent you from returning to old patterns that no longer serve you. So those are your 2 oil blends that you can use to work yourself through Chapter 2 of Warrior Goddess Training. And we will be back with Chapter 3 for you guys. Yay! See you guys soon.